Hello friends, recently we have started new sections on our YouTube channel, the clinical case based MCQs and the PYQs, the previous year's questions. That is the MCQs which have been asked in the previous exams, PG entrance exams. So in this video, we are going to discuss one such MCQ. But before we proceed, it will be a good idea to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon. Alright, so here is the MCQ. It's the MCQ on CNS. When a man is deciding on a voluntary movement, first impulse will be recorded from his which part of the brain? That was the MCQ. And the options are premotor cortex, or let's say premotor and supplementary motor areas, primary motor cortex, cerebellum, or basal ganglia. I had put up this MCQ on my social media platforms, and what I saw is many students answered basal ganglia, but that's not the case. First impulse will be recorded from the premotor and supplementary motor areas. So let's understand this in little detail now. If you see the lateral view of the brain in front of the central sulcus, we have precentral gyrus. The area 4 of the Brodmann is primary motor cortex, and in front of it the premotor and supplementary motor areas. These motor areas, area 4 and area 6, they have the body's muscle representation. Entire body is represented in these areas. So when a person is deciding on a voluntary movement, which means what? It means the thought for the voluntary movement, the idea for the voluntary movement, it starts in the premotor and supplementary motor areas, area 6. And therefore, that was the question actually. And the answer is premotor areas, the thought. So first impulse will be generated over here in this area where thought comes for the voluntary movement. And then if you see the sequence, the thought or the idea for the voluntary movement will be transferred to the basal ganglia, where the abstract thought will be converted into a voluntary movement. So second impulse will be generated from the basal ganglia. Now once that movement has been planned and programmed, then the third impulse will come from the cerebellum. Cerebellum will help the cortex in planning, in the sense that sequence of muscle contractions which will be required during that movement, that is given by the neocerebellum. And then the fourth impulse will be generated in the primary motor cortex, area 4, where entire body's musculature is represented. So for the concerned muscles, the command will be formed in the primary motor cortex, and via the descending tracts, the signals will be sent down for execution. The commands will be sent on the spinal cord, and from there to the concerned muscles, and then the voluntary movement will start. So that was the MCQ related to the motor system, and many more such MCQs will be discussed in the coming days. So it will be a good idea to subscribe to the channel.